Lakota, the Dakota, were mostly in Minnesota, and that's where the Episcopal Church first encountered them. And it was right before the Civil War, and it was called the Dakota War, 1860-1861. And I don't need to go into what all caused it or what happened, but over 300 Lakota young men were sentenced to be hung. And initially, Abraham Lincoln, who was president, signed off on it. But our bishop, Whipple, was in Minnesota, and he wrote he had, like all Episcopal bishops, he had throw, he had influence, he had friends. And so he wrote to all of his friends, and he wrote to Abraham Lincoln, and Abraham Lincoln wrote him right back, of course, saying, don't kill the Dakota warriors. It's not their fault. They were falsely accused, and they were rounded up. Anyway, so 38 of them did end up being hung. It's the largest mass execution in American history. But in the town, Mankato, in Minnesota, there was an Episcopal deacon. He was on his way to being a priest, but in any case. And he hid the day after, and the day before, and the day after, he hid over 400 Dakota families in the basement of the church and the basement of his house. And 2 days after the 27th of December, they left for Nebraska, and he saddled up his horse and he went with them. And I think that it was that influenced Gall to invite the Episcopal Church here. Now, there's also stories about sun dancing, for instance, but there was, as has been pointed out to me, there was no anthropology, there was no sociology back then, and white people especially, did not understand what was going on with the sun dance or with the powwow, and so it was suspect, and so the Episcopal Church was part of clamping down on the sun dance just because we didn't understand. But a lot of the other customs, the Bible and the prayer book and the hymnal were immediately translated into Dakota with